I said, I'm sorry, I was on the beat meeting.
Oh, no problem.
All right, so I just started streaming, but we can start the meeting whenever we feel comfortable with having enough people here.
Okay, and are you able to count who's on, York?
Right now, Liz, are you on the YouTube also, or no? No. So there's 4 people that are on YouTube besides
Okay.
my monitoring.
Okay, all righty.
Do you want me on the YouTube just to have another set of eyes on it?
No.
Okay.
I was just trying to keep a count so I know who's attending.
Okay.
Okay, are we ready, York?
We are ready to go.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining tonight. We're gonna, I don't know if Senator Feigenholz is gonna join us tonight. Allison, her chief of staff, was going to join us, but she's ill. So I don't know if Senator Feigenholz is gonna be joining us. Let me introduce the board members. Jan Sumrall, I'm the president. York Chan is our board member, and he's our IT guy. Tom James, a board member. Liz Cohen, board member. Mary Davis, she's our board member and secretary, and Robert Clark. And am I seeing everybody? Did I miss anybody? And I think Richard Gray should be coming along pretty soon. He was on the beat meeting link. Okay. So I don't see anybody from Senator Feigenholz's office. So I'm going to go ahead and do some general updates. I think we were all kind of surprised that the church was sold, the Wellington Avenue Church. I did contact Bennett Lawson in Alderman Tunney's office, and they were kind of really not too aware of what was going on there. It was they knew something was going on, but it went like really quick and really under the radar. Rabbi Kotlarski, he's the gentleman that he's in charge of Chabad Lakeview, and he and his family have moved into the 2-flat in the back of the property of Wellington Avenue Church. To the first of the year, Bennett is going to introduce me to Rabbi and let him know about SELVN, and hopefully at some point in time we'll be able to meet in person, and he'll be able to come to one of the meetings. So
the sign I saw says Jewish Community Center too.
Yes.
Well, it's not technically a JCC, the Jewish Community Center, but Chabad is a Jewish community.
Right.
It's one of the Jewish communities. So, yeah.
And I believe they have an office over on Irving Park.
They had been previously doing everything out of the Park Place high-rise at 655 West Irving Park.
Yeah, and I think you've probably seen the signs up in the neighborhood for, I think they were doing a Hanukkah drive and, some other thing.
Yep.
So as I mentioned, Bennett is going to introduce me to him, and so we'll reach out and welcome them to SELVN. And that seems to be, the churches are having, difficulties with their congregations. They're decreasing. This was mentioned, I think it was a couple of meetings back, if not longer. The second Christian Science Church, it's not in SELVN, but it's just right on the other side of Diversey. It's right at Pine Grove and Wrightwood. And they've got somebody that is purchasing the property, and the
Jan?
church is, Yes,
Do you have any idea what's going on with Timeline as a result of this?
no.
I know they're not having shows, and they were going to move at one point,
Right.
but I don't know what's going on with any of it.
Yeah, no, like I said, this was a surprise on all of this stuff, and Bennett didn't have a lot of information, but going to follow up on that. But Timeline, as you mentioned, they were supposed to, I think Bob brought it up that they got a grant.
Well, they got a MacArthur grant, yeah, but they were still,
wow.
that was about a year ago, but they were still a year or two away, at least a couple of years from moving up north to about 1,500 north, I think.
Right, so Andersonville or something.
Yeah, Andersonville. By the way, I think it's a very good development that the community took over this church, and both because it's a historically terribly significant place and also architecturally worthy. It's not landmarked, so it could have gone down ultimately, and this is a really positive development. I think we can welcome it.
Well, Wellington Avenue Church is still going to be there in some part of the building. If again we ever get back to meeting in person, but my understanding is they're continuing to have virtual church services. So hopefully after the first of the year, we'll have a little bit more information on that. But the church at Pine Grove and Wrightwood, that's going to be a residential addition of units of 26 units. They're supposed to be in the condos in the area from 1 to 2 million, and it's possible that they might go to rentals, but that just gives you an idea that that's what's happening with the churches. Their congregation is going down, and they're looking at means to try.
Is that the Christian Science Church?
Pardon me?
Christian Science, yeah.
That's a very great architectural loft.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Beautiful. I remember seeing it during Open House Chicago.
Yeah.
It's
Me too.
really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it's very nice. And then the church, and I can't think of the name of it, but it's across the street from the police station. I think I mentioned that last.
It's Lakeview Lutheran? Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Yeah, I was just trying to go back and look at my notes here from the last meeting. It might have been the meeting before that, but that's what they're doing too. Is that's going to be a building for veterans that are handicapped. So, and they're going to be able to retain their church services there. So that kind of seems to be a trend on that. And then there's a burger place that's opening up on Diversey right next to the original Pancake House. That was where the Veggie Grill was. They've been closed for probably, I want to say, at least 2 months, if not longer. And there was a sign up today that it's going to be a burger place.
So it's going from plant to meat? Is that what's happening there?
Yes, yes.
Wrong direction.
Yes.
Well,
That's what sells.
What the people want.
yeah. So,
Not me.
The veggie place went down.
yeah, so I mean, I'm assuming it's a meat burger, but I don't know. It just said hamburgers and shakes, so I'm assuming it's meat.
I think we
We
can.
got the picture.
Safe.
It's nice to know that they're interested in, starting a business with everything that's going on, that somebody's moving forward. So that's a good thing.
Well, that coffee shop that opened on Diversey in the midst of COVID never has any business. The
Which one? The Venezuelan one?
No, it's not that one. This I'm talking farther west, near across from Trader Joe's there, and it's a little has a cute little exterior. And they opened up about a month and a half ago, and I never see anybody in there.
Wow, I've never even noticed it.
Yeah, where is it, Bob?
Almost, it's just a little bit west. If it, not quite, the Trader Joe's is the the oyster place and so on. Then you go just a little bit west across Orchard, and you'll see past the bedding shop.
That's a bakery shop.
Well, it's a coffee but I never see anybody in there. I don't know how
they are open because I go by there.
They're open, but I never see the
Customers.
And I think they might be doing takeout or,
I hope so. Brave of them to open during.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, they're definitely appear to be open over there. So other than that, business-wise, there's not too much else that I know.
Jan,
Yes.
you know that Mortar and Pestle is temporarily closed. I'm expecting it to be
Yeah,
much.
I'm surprised it's not much larger than that.
Yeah, well, it probably will be.
Yeah, in time.
Just some, general updates that I have is, we had a CAPS meeting right before the SELVN meeting, and burglaries are up a little bit. And a couple of the incidents were in homes where the doors were unlocked. But Officer Sims had said, people are at home, and the robberies breaking into homes are down. But because people are home now, they're targeting people on the sidewalk. So just be careful. Stay out of the alley, and just be aware of your surroundings. But overall, Officer Sims says that robberies are down compared to last year. I think she said it was like 30% down. So, the police district, they have a Twitter account. That's always good to follow. They have daily postings. They include alerts, general activities, and events. The CAPS meeting, the next one will be in, this is December, probably in February. Over the past 2 weekends, I attended virtually. It's the additional training for beat facilitators, and they've had across the city. They had 77 new beat facilitators that are working with the neighborhoods and the CAPS programs, and some of the beats have been combined, and the message from downtown is that they want each beat to have their own meeting. So after the first of the year, beat 1934, the meeting is combined with 1935. So after the first of the year, it'll be just 1934, and we've been trying to find somebody to take beat 1935, which runs from Diversity down to Fullerton and then Halstead to the lake. But there's been no takers so far. So let's see.
Will 1934 continue with the same schedule then on their own?
Yes. Yes. We were continuing to move forward with having the beat meeting before the SELVN meeting. Hopefully we'll get more people to both. So we had a few more this evening than we normally do. So that was positive. And then Lakeview East Chamber of Commerce, they've been doing a lot, circulating flyers and putting out information of how to support the small neighborhoods, businesses. So the website for Lakeview East Chamber of Commerce is www.lakevieweast.com, and Maureen Martino and her group, they're operating, on thin strings, and they're really doing a great job putting together the newsletters and sending out flyers. So there's a lot of information there how we can support the neighborhood small businesses. And then redefine Lakeshore Drive, again, www.northlakeshoredrive.org. that website lists all the ongoing project, and it's got you can sign up for the newsletter, so continue to follow that. And then Alderman Tunney's office has the weekly newsletter that comes out on Thursday, and that's a good place to go for announcements, things going on not only in SELVN but in the rest of 44, construction updates and other information. So it's good to sign on
Tom,
for that.
That was good timing because all
Oh, perfect.
showed up.
Perfect. And I was just getting ready to turn the floor over to Calvin, but I'll turn it over to you, Alderman Tunney. Thanks for joining. So if you want to unmute yourself, you're on, Alderman Tunney.
Tom,
All right, I'm here. I just actually walked into the apartment. So Calvin, you start, and then I'll follow up after you.
Okay, sure.
I haven't even got my coat off. Okay. So,
Sure thing, Alderman. So, Jan, I know you just mentioned the Redefine the Drive. Our office has been getting a lot of feedback from folks that they're really interested in some of the proposals, and they wanted to have more discussions directly with the city's Department of Transportation. So our office is working on planning a meeting with CDOT about Redefine the Drive. That's going to happen in the next couple months. Sign up for the newsletter, and you'll be the first to hear once we finally have a date for that finished up. We're now in the holiday season, so happy Hanukkah to all who celebrate. And with that, there's going to be, our office is going to pick up Christmas trees again, like in previous years. We're going to be doing that January 9th and January 10th. More details, such as how to sign up for that, are forthcoming. But keep a lookout for that. Also, with this holiday season, lots of people are getting packages and they're doing online shopping for gifts. And we want to make sure that people are people are getting their packages delivered and signing for those packages. There's been lots of package thefts at the beat meeting we were just at. They actually have arrested some package thieves in the neighborhood, so that's good. If you hear about packages getting stolen, if you're seeing suspicious behavior, make sure to contact the 19th District Police, because that helps them establish patterns, and that's one of the ways that they caught a pretty prolific package thief. But with this holiday season, just make sure you're either getting them delivered to your job, someplace safe like that. You can get them delivered to a neighbor, someone who can keep the package safe, or just kind of make sure that the package is getting delivered at a time that you can be home. And then also, I thought folks might be interested that the property at 3115 North Broadway, which is already approved, it's going to be new apartments that just moved to the permitting stage. So they're about to get their final permits to start construction on that.
where is that exactly? I mean, I
Is
know.
that the building with the apartment people in it?
With the
yes, it is. It's where Intelligentsia is. Yep.
Okay.
Oh, it's only been years.
Well, it hasn't started yet, Jan. So it could be decades, but you know.
Okay.
Good.
All right, Calvin, are you done?
Yes, take it away.
Okay. So on the Redefine the Drive, as regards to SELVN, they're really, other than the intersection of Belmont, Lakeshore Drive, Belmont, and Sheridan, that's where we're getting a lot of feedback, the north of Belmont. Obviously, we all intersect that interchange every day, but as Calvin said, we're going to meet with the folks. We'll have a couple of meetings probably in 2021. I do not anticipate the first meeting happening until the second quarter because of, a lot of ways COVID. We want to get people in a room, so to speak. That we had two meetings in in 19 that were very well attended, as you know, one at St. Joe's and the other at Temple Sholem. And so we're getting there. I think the big challenge is how do we minimize the impact on Aldine because it's a one-way going towards the drive, and there's going to be a southbound exit off of Foster that comes down, and Aldine. I think what we're going to try to do is try to keep Aldine the same context that is there currently. So you would take a right or a left-hand turn onto Inner Drive, but no access to Outer Drive. I think that's what's going to happen, but we won't have a better idea until probably the second quarter of 2021. In the SELVN area, as maybe Calvin alluded to, we did a lot of street resurfacing this year. We're going to do some additional lighting in alleys. One of the previous SELVN meetings was concerned about Pine Grove, and that's not me. Pine Grove and just north of Diversity. So we're going to look at those alleys. Jan, it's really behind your building and just east of your building. But if there's any issues or infrastructure improvements that you would like to see happen, please, we're putting together the menu for 2021. The one project that has been delayed in 2020 menu was the redo of the intersection at Broadway and Surf. We're going to add a more enhanced pedestrian crosswalk at that intersection. And there was a hiccup with, I think there's a sewer main or water main project that's going over there. Not a big project, but there was something that precluded that from happening this year. But I anticipate the first quarter of 2021 will be at that intersection at Broadway and Surf quite extensively, actually. And then, all things happening in Lincoln Park, north of Diversity, that being the turf field, the entire redo of the water table, I should say, at Wellington, and obviously stretches north almost to Belmont or to Briar, heading south in terms of trying to fix the whole water table issue there. And then the only other thing in terms of SELVN is there's obviously a strong interest in the dog park in somewhere between Briar, basically, and Diversity. I'm getting a lot of pressure to try to reintroduce that idea on Inner Lakeshore Drive. And, we've worked extensively with our neighbors at 3180 and 3150. And I think for that matter, 2970 or something, there just isn't a really strong feeling from the residents that live along Inner Lakeshore Drive that they would like to see an official dog park. I see Bob Clark's on the phone. That would be more less green space, because the underlayment of a dog park would certainly be granite stones and such. It's a big deal. But I've told the people that were interested in dog park through Jessica in my office that I would entertain an idea of a dog park on the east side of Lakeshore Drive, just south of the AIDS Garden, not restoration, but AIDS Garden, which will be happening, hopefully, probably spring of 2021. So I'll leave it at that and open it up for some questions. I didn't expect to be on this early. Sorry, I was. I heard my state senator was on the call, and I figured I could give it a half hour with her. So,
Well, they were unable. They opted out at the last minute.
oh, okay.
As long as we're on Lakeshore Drive, any thoughts on renaming Lakeshore Drive?
Well, I'm all ears. The problem with Lakeshore Drive, renaming it, is not only signage but mailing addresses, and those of us that live along Lakeshore Drive, it would be an issue. So I think there's some type of compromise that the outer drive would be Baptiste du Sable, but anybody on the inner drive would still be Lakeshore Drive. Or, as someone mentioned to me, we could call it Du Sable Lakeshore Drive. So. But if there's strong feelings one way or another, I'd like to hear them. I think this issue has been tabled till the spring of 2021, but I'm all ears.
Well, Tom, personally, when I heard this proposal, I thought this is like renaming the Champs-Élysées or something. The Lakeshore Drive has a kind of iconic international ring associated with Chicago, and I do believe there should be an important place that recognizes DuSable's name, but I personally don't think it should be Lakeshore Drive. I wanted to ask you also about the water table turfing area that's so large. What's the time frame for the dismantling of that fencing, which is shutting off that whole area of Lincoln Park for so long for all of us?
Probably won't happen, I would think, till probably September of 2021.
Oh.
What?
Well, if you look at it, have you seen what's going on?
Yes, I'm appalled. The denial of park access to our whole SELVN area for such a long period of time.
Well, I think the turf field is going to be before, but I think phase one is to put the turf field down. You've seen the granite underlayment.
Yes, indeed, I have.
It's already started. But I'll, you know what? At your next meeting, I'll give you a more definitive timetable. But
do we have your assurance that when that god awful thing is done, there will not be a fence around it?
Meaning what? The turf field?
The field will not be fenced in.
No, the field. No. The whole thing is going to be wide open. No, but you can see the amount of construction that's happening over there, trying to obviously create some water element on the how shall I say, the east side of the west side of Lakeshore Drive. There's a water retention element as part of this.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, but I'll get a more definitive. But I might not be that far off when it comes to second quarter of 2021. I think the turf. I think phase one, the turf field gets open, and phase two is the rest of it, actually.
Tom, one other question. Sorry to monopolize this. I'll be very quick. I know you voted against the so-called Lightfoot budget, and I'm concerned the bigger picture of your forecast of the fiscal situation here. It looks like the prospect of federal aid is very dicey for cities and state governments, because we don't know how the Georgia Senate races will go. And we certainly can't count on that. And then the fair tax proposal was voted down by the voters in Illinois. So both of those seem to me to darken the fiscal future. I wonder how you appraise all that.
Well, I think there's talk in Springfield about raising the flat tax up versus the progressive income tax. I think what I've heard that's going to be in short order down in Springfield, but maybe Sarah or Margaret Crow could better answer that.
I'm thinking specifically of the city and how it's going to get through this, the Park District and all these places and entities that are spending money. Where is it all going to come from in this constricted circumstances?
Well, obviously, Bob, there's hope for the Biden administration to provide some kind of funding. I don't know if that's a critique of my vote or not. But
no, it isn't a critique of your vote at all.
Yeah.
It's just that's a separate issue, but it's just that the Biden administration helping out state and local governments would depend on Senate consent for appropriation, and there's no prospect or guarantee that the Senate won't remain in Republican hands, and McConnell said he's against that. That's all I'm saying. So I just see that as something we better be prepared to face.
Well, and trust me, I was not happy with the budget without any kind of cuts to the city. I just felt we've all got to tighten our belt. We cannot continue to just increase the cost of government every year without a plan. And the fact that that we didn't do any layoffs, any substantial furloughs, only for those that have 100,000 plus salaries, I felt was wrong. Because we don't know what's going to happen in Washington, and I have my own issues about the police budget because I think there was no critical decision making. Public safety is 65% of our budget. If we do not do something to rein in costs on all departments, but specifically on public safety, we'll never be able to balance a budget ever without increasing property taxes every year. And in fact, by the way, as you know, Bob, that was not just a property tax increase, but a cost of living property tax increase for every year henceforth.
Yeah. When you say,
I think we all need to tighten our belts. The private
you're
sector.
saying public safety, 65%. You're not counting education. That's a separate budget, right?
No. CPS is a separate budget. I'm talking about the corporate budget.
Yeah, I understand. Okay.
Yeah. And, what's happening in industries all over the city, and most of them are doing anywhere from 25 to 50% cuts just to get through this pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, cities themselves are under threat. I mean, we're in a shaky period.
I don't disagree. I mean, in terms of the revenue side, so many of our economically sensitive industries are totally underwater. I mean, the hotels are running at about a 20% occupancy. They should be running close to an 80% occupancy. The Navy Pier is shut down. We can go on and on and on. Yet government continues to expand their budgets, and the leveraging of the bond inducements to spend another, whatever it is, $3 billion on infrastructure improvements that will not come to the 44th Ward. And I'm not against investing in South and West, but there is no money coming to Lakeview, and there are going to be taxes coming from Lakeview again and again and again. And I just don't think, as the representative of the 44th Ward, I can support that. So I think there needed to be cuts to the city budget, period, across the board.
Well, I would have liked to cut the turf field. That would have saved a couple of million.
Well, remember, Bob, that was CPS. That was not the city.
You know it's CPS, but it's still money in the public budget.
Yeah. Point taken.
And made repeatedly.
How do you really feel, Bob?
Yeah, I love it.
Can I ask a question about the scooters?
Yes, Liz.
They're supposed to be picked up within a 2-hour period. Is that right?
They can be dropped off at various points and adhere to, signposts or whatever, bike racks.
But they're supposed to be picked up in a pretty timely manner, right?
Well, I don't think
the reason I'm asking is we're seeing some of them around for days before being touched.
Well, the question is, no, I think with Divvy, they're supposed to be in fixed stations.
I'm talking about the scooters, though. Yeah.
In the scooter, I don't think they're literally supposed to be picked up from fixed stations, and I don't think that they're unless there's something that is, there isn't. As again, I don't think that there's a set place.
There's not. That's my
supposed to be
point.
done.
My understanding was that people leave them parked, and there's maybe some GPS or something that then says, "I'm done."
Here's the closest one to you, etc. Right?
No, right. But when they're done, isn't the company supposed to get them out of the way, or they just stay there until somebody else picks them up? I mean, until somebody else rents one.
I think they stay until somebody else is
Oh.
picking them again. Yeah, there's no movement of those.
Yeah. Whereas Divvy, they go in fixed locations, is what I'm saying. So
Yeah, no, I knew it wasn't a fixed location thing, but I completely misunderstood that because I was under the impression that somehow they were going to be picked up by the company.
No, I think the only time
Otherwise, they'd be left on sidewalks in the middle of.
well, that's the whole
that's
chaining
the
up thing. That's why they have the locking mechanism this year.
Right.
Because that forces them to lock them up someplace that's away from the pedestrians.
Okay.
Theoretically.
Yeah. I think they only get picked up if they have to get picked up for charging purposes.
Well, we had a lot of issues when they first started that they were hooking the scooters up to our private property, and we were calling, and I will say they were very good about coming out within, I don't know, an hour or so, and taking them off of the private property. But you have to call on those. But my understanding is that they've got a bunch of these trucks that are just riding around the city, so they seem to be very receptive if there's an issue.
yeah.
It's been our experience.
But Jan, your complaint was on private property.
Yes,
Most of them that I see are somewhere between the curb and the sidewalk on the
Right.
public way.
right. It's correct.
And by the way, come the fall, quite frankly, I was surprised at the usage. The weather's turned a little bit, but I didn't expect to see the kind of usage that I saw when the weather was pretty temperate. So I think they're here to stay. So we're still in the pilot, but I think that if people have some constructive ideas about placement, we're very concerned about, a whole bunch of them being left at Wrigley Field during, a game or at a CTA station where they just pretty much block the public way. But I haven't seen that yet in the past couple of months. Obviously, we haven't had those kind of large gatherings, but I think that was a concern that we've seen in other municipalities pre-COVID. Anything else for me?
York, do we have anybody with questions from the YouTube side?
No, we have 9 people attending on YouTube and no questions that I've seen yet.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to sign off. Did you guys have your elections already?
No, I was just going to get ready to speak
right.
about that.
Well, good luck and thanks everyone for their service. I appreciate the team that we've assembled at SELVN. So,
Well, thank you and to everybody in your office. They've been doing a yeoman job.
Well, Tom, I want to thank you for the beautiful tree in front of our building. We have our oak tree.
thank you, Bob. Okay. Thank you,
Happy
everybody.
holidays, Tom.
Yep. Good night.
Good night. Okay, anything else for, any questions, any other? Did Cottrell leave, or Calvin, did you leave? Oh, he's
No,
still
I was
there.
just putting my camera off, so.
Oh, okay. Any other questions for Calvin? Okey doke.
Calvin, it's either Calvin or you, Jan. You were doing that crime report. Are we an exception in being free of these carjackings that seem to be so common in various neighborhoods?
I think they're like right around Sylvan, but not too much in Sylvan.
So we're an oasis free of carjacking. All right.
Yes, they've been, again, on the other side of Diversey, south of Diversey. The one that was recent, that was at, I think it was Roslyn and Lakeview. And then there was one over on, I think it was the 900 block on Halstead. It was just on the other side of Diversey. But the Walgreens was robbed. Gosh, I went up there today and I started to go last night and thank goodness I didn't because it was robbed last night. What they're
Which
doing,
one are you talking about? Which Walgreens?
the one on Halsted and Diversey, that's been the second time. And the one over on Halsted and right across from the little shopping center where the FedEx
Barry.
is right next to
Halsted and
FedEx.
Barry.
Yeah, that one was robbed. I think it was 2 weeks ago or
Yeah.
something. And they scoot in and they try to take the cash register money when the person is away from the cash register. They kind of, so that's what's been going on. But other than that, we've been pretty free of the carjackings.
Yeah, I would also note one more thing is that the carjackings for SELVN are actually down year to date. So even though there's been other problems around the ward and in our police district, they haven't been in SELVN. So,
Well, all right, we'll take what we can get.
So we
Well,
do have
the-
a couple of questions from YouTube.
Okay.
Someone has asked whether or not anybody has information about the Bed Bath & Beyond space.
Yes, the Bed Bath and Beyond space, they should probably be closing. They're going to be closing by the end of the year. They are not restocking anything. So whatever's in there is what's for sale. And when that's gone, they're going to close. And there's been no information as to what's going to go in there going forward. And the upstairs is still vacant too, where the TJ Maxx used to be.
Oh, boy.
Never should have built that building. Just saying.
Well, the Bed Bath and Beyond people are sad that they're on the other side of Diversey. They would prefer to be back on Broadway because the space was much larger and you could navigate in there a lot more. So they,
TJ
Do you mean
Maxx?
the TJ Maxx people?
yeah, the TJ Maxx.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, that place is a nightmare.
it is. You can't you can't even move around in there. So
Well, that's why I'm glad I've never set foot there.
well, the reason that they moved out of the building on Broadway is because the HVAC system didn't work. And it was either, it was too hot in there most of the summer, but it was uncomfortable. But it was good space though, as far as getting around and setting up their displays. So from that standpoint, I think they would have liked to have stayed on Broadway.
Any other YouTube questions, York?
The only other thing that came up is others voiced their support for maintaining the Lakeshore Drive name. So Calvin, if you would like to relate that to the alderman.
Yeah.
I can certainly do that.
Thank you.
Another question on businesses. I'm talking about the space over here on Clark Street, just north of Oakdale, where the school was supposed to go in. Is that still going in there? The day school on the children's school on the first floor there of that big development?
Where Buca used to be?
Yeah.
Yeah, last word is they are planning on going in there. I don't know when, but haven't heard otherwise. That's still the plan.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
Speaking of preschools, what they've done with that building on Diversity near you, Jan?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Extraordinary.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful. And they seem to be doing pretty well over there.
That's great.
And I know We Care, which is right next to our building, they're doing well. And Mary Meyer is back in operation. So the schools are doing something okay.
The schools for little kids.
Yes,
Those are the ones. Yeah.
We got some desperate parents out there.
Well, I think it's good socialization for the kids, But,
Yeah.
okay, anything else, York?
You know what she
Nope,
wants.
that's everything that we've got from the general membership.
Okay. Regarding the board elections, we're going to have to postpone that till hopefully next month. according to our bylaws, there cannot be any voting unless it's physically in person. The bylaws are set up so that our board meetings, if we have a video conferencing, that will constitute in person. So we're looking at doing something for possibly temporarily amending the bylaws so that we can have a video conferencing election. So at this point, we're just going to be, I guess you could say, on hold, and we're working on a resolution to move forward.
Well, and everyone who's running is on the board already?
Yes, yes.
I mean, I know we should do it, but it doesn't
Yeah.
really affect much.
No.
Just bitterly contested. We're going to have the Proud Boys out there on this.
Yeah.
Well, the main thing is that we just want to make sure that we're operating according to the bylaws. So, so are there any questions or?
Yeah, I have one.
Yes.
It's independent of our agenda, but did the Electoral College votes accumulate?
Yes,
Today?
they did.
Okay.
Yeah, they're over 270.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bring on the moving trucks.
Okay.
Can't
All
be
right.
soon enough.
All right. Anything else?
Oh, when he fired Barr.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're live. We're live here, so please, no political.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just reporting the news.
Yeah.
All righty.
With the
Good news
thumbs up,
only.
not a comment of any kind.
Okay, all righty. Okay, well, with that, everybody, thank you for joining. Happy holidays.
Thank you, York,
Thank you.
too, for doing
Yes,
this.
yes, York for, he's been a yeoman setting all this stuff up.
And we'll see everybody next year.
Yes.
May
Wow.
it be a better
Better
one
than this
in a
one.
million ways.
Yeah, and thank you, Jen, too, as always.
Yes, thank
Great
you.
job, everybody.
Absolutely.
Okey doke.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, happy holidays.
Thank you.
Bye.